Moving on now to passage 2. Let's get started. First question we'll do is number 11, since it's specific. The authors most likely use the examples in lines 1 to 9 of the passage to highlight the what. So we're focusing on this part of the passage, and we want to know why the authors use the examples. So let's see. First thing we do before that, of course, is we read the blurb, and all we get from the blurb is just the title of the where this comes from. It's adapted from Money Can't Buy Love, Asymmetric Beliefs About Gift Price and Feelings of Appreciation. So not that useful. Let's go and start reading. Every day, millions of shoppers hit the stores in full force, both online and on foot, searching frantically for the perfect gift. Last year, Americans spent over $30 billion at retail stores in the month of December alone. Aside from purchasing holiday gifts, most people regularly buy presents for other occasions throughout the year, including weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, and baby showers. I'm going to finish reading this opening paragraph. This frequent experience of gift giving can engender ambivalent feelings in gift givers. Many relish the opportunity to buy presents because gift giving offers a powerful means to build stronger bonds with one's closest peers. At the same time, many dread the thought of buying gifts. They worry that their purchases will disappoint rather than delight the intended recipients. So why does the author use these examples, basically from 1 to 9? So basically coming up with her own definition or coming up with her own answer, giving examples of the occasions on which people buy presents for other people, and leading to a discussion of the ambiguities about how people feel about giving gifts. They like giving gifts, but they also don't like giving gifts. So let's see, does this highlight the regularity with which people shop for gifts? Yeah, seems good, right? We shop for gifts all the time, including birthdays, of course, and other occasions, holiday gifts, and all the ones described here. Highlight the recent increase in the amount of money spent on gifts. Be very careful. Does it say anywhere here that the amount spent increased recently? We do have an amount, but it doesn't say it increased, so B is gone. Highlight the anxiety gift shopping causes for consumers. Later we'll talk about that, right, in these lines, but we're focusing on lines 1 to 9. And 1 to 9, the point is to show, you can see here, most people regularly buy presents for other occasions. So it just shows that people buy their presents regularly. So I don't think C is going to work. Number of special occasions involving gift giving. This looks pretty good as well. So let's hold D aside, right? Number of special occasions involving gift giving. So that looks pretty good. So now we're stuck between two. Now we have to deal with a situation where we have to evaluate the choices very carefully, give them a second look, and see if there's even a single word in the choice that doesn't quite fit. So let's see. The author uses the examples to highlight the regularity with which people shop for gifts, or the number of special occasions involving gift giving. So be careful here. What did the passage emphasize? What did the passage highlight? The passage highlights, aside from purchasing holiday gifts, most people regularly buy presents for other occasions. Notice the next sentence. This frequent experience of gift giving can engender ambivalent feelings in gift givers. So the point that's being emphasized is the frequency, right? The regularity, the fact that people shop for gifts often. That fits more with A, whereas D is just talking about, the number of special occasions involving gift giving. On some level, that's important, but what's really being emphasized, and we can see this in the lines around these examples with the word regularly and with the frequent experience, that the focus is on the regularity, it's on the frequency, not just on the number, right? But how often, the fact that people often have to buy gifts, and that's going to lead eventually to the problems that are discussed. So we're going to go with A on this one. In line 10, the word ambivalent most nearly means what? Well, let's go see. This frequent experience of gift giving can engender ambivalent feelings in gift givers. And then we read on earlier to say that, many people like giving gifts, and then also they didn't like giving gifts. So what kind of feelings do they have here? We can come up with their own word. How about mixed, right? They've got mixed feelings, good and bad. So unrealistic, that doesn't quite fit with what we read. Conflicted fits perfectly. Apprehensive, certainly they have apprehensive feelings to a certain extent, but ambivalent captures both sides. And supportive, maybe on some level they like buying gifts, but again, we need to find one that shows mixed feelings. That's basically what ambivalent means. If you're ambivalent about something, you've got mixed feelings about it. So conflicted works perfectly, so we'll go with choice B. Now, number 13 This is a two-part question where we're going to have to find the reference later. Since we're not quite clear where the answer to this is yet, and from what we've read, I don't think... I mean, maybe we can answer this, because notice what we read in 12 to 13. They think gift-giving offers a powerful means to build strong bonds with one's closest peers. So this might end up being the answer. So let's kind of write down lines 12 to 13. But we'll come back to this after we've read more. No reason to do it right away. This one we can do right away. Notice the social psychologist mentioned in paragraph 2 would likely describe the deadweight loss phenomenon as what? So let's go ahead and read paragraph 2, 17 to 34, and let's try to find out what this deadweight loss is and how the social psychologists, would consider it or describe it. So let's see. Anthropologists describe gift-giving as a positive social process serving various political, religious, and psychological functions. Economists, however, offer a less favorable view. According to Waldfogel, gift-giving represents an objective waste of resources. People buy gifts that recipients would not choose to buy on their own, or at least not spend as much money to purchase, a phenomenon referred to as the deadweight loss of Christmas. To wit, givers are likely to spend $100 to purchase a gift that receivers would spend only $80 to buy themselves. This deadweight loss suggests that gift givers are not very good at predicting what gifts others will appreciate. That in itself is not surprising to social psychologists, so interesting point right here. Research has found that people often struggle to take account of others' perspectives. Their insights are subject to egocentrism, social projection, and multiple attribution errors. So we want to know what the social psychologists who are mentioned right here, what they would think about the deadweight loss. And what did they say? They said that it is not surprising. So we're looking for an answer that means something like not surprising. Predictable? Yeah, I mean, that's not surprising, right? You would predict it given how people act and operate in other situations. Questionable? No, just the opposite. Disturbing? No, doesn't say that specifically anywhere. And unprecedented, just the opposite, right? It's not unprecedented. It's expected, right? It's something that's not surprising. So the only choice that really works here is A. So we'll go with A. All right. Next question. The passage indicates that the assumption made by gift givers in lines 41 to 44 may be. So let's underline this because here's our assumption in lines 41 to 44. And we want to know what the passage indicates about this. So now we'll read the next paragraph. What is surprising is that gift givers have considerable experience acting as both gift givers and gift recipients, but nevertheless tend to overspend each time they set out to purchase a meaningful gift. In the present research, we propose a unique psychological explanation for this overspending problem, i.e. that gift givers equate how much they spend with how much recipients will appreciate the gift. The more expensive the gift, the stronger a gift recipient's feelings of appreciation. Let's continue. Let's finish the paragraph. Although a link between gift price and feelings of appreciation might seem intuitive to gift givers, such an assumption may be unfounded. Indeed, we propose that gift recipients will be less inclined to base their feelings of appreciation on the magnitude of a gift than givers assume. So what is the assumption made by gift givers? Simply that the more they spend, the more expensive the gift, the more the receiver of the gift will like it. Now, what does the passage say about this assumption? We can see in the following lines that it's incorrect, that there really is no link. So we're looking for something like incorrect. So insincere? No, because the assumption is sincere. The gift givers sincerely believe this. They're just wrong. Unreasonable? Notice it's not, even though that seems close to incorrect, notice what we have right here. Although a link between gift price and feelings of appreciation might seem intuitive, right? So the author is saying, well, this thing might seem intuitive. It might seem like a reasonable connection. It's just that the data doesn't bear it out. So B is close, but not right. Incorrect works perfect. Substantiated is the opposite of what we're looking for. So we'll go with C. 17, which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? Notice what we've read, unfortunately, is not any of the cited lines. So we're going to come back to 17 after we read this portion of the passage. So let's move on to 18. As it is used in line 54, convey most nearly means. Why do gift givers assume that gift price is closely linked to gift recipients' feelings of appreciation? Perhaps givers believe that bigger, i.e. more expensive gifts, convey stronger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So let's put in our own word here. What own word would we put in to replace convey? That means the same thing in context. How about something like communicate? Right? And I'm doing this without looking at the choices. So if communicate is one of the choices, that's a good thing. So let's see. Transport? No, we're not physically transporting signals of thoughtfulness, right? We're communicating them. Counteract, just the opposite. Now, exchange, be careful, because you might say, oh, well, exchange is kind of like, communicating. But nothing here says that there's an exchange between them, just that, like, the gift giver gives signals and the gift receiver gives signals and they're signaling to each other like that. Givers are believing that they are conveying, they are communicating signals to the receivers. It's not simply an exchange. So C is close, but not quite there. And then what do you know? We see in choice D, communicate, which looks pretty good. So we'll go with choice D. And like I said, I've done this question before, but I don't remember this one. And I didn't look at the choices before I chose this word. It's just that I was able to determine the meaning of the word on the context, and I got lucky picking the right word. And there you go. Next question, number 19. The authors refer to work by Kammerer and others in order to what? So let's go to this part. So we want to know why the author is including this reference to this work. According to Kammerer and others, gift giving represents a symbolic ritual whereby gift givers attempt to signal their positive attitudes toward the intended recipient and their willingness to invest resources in a future relationship. In this sense, gift givers may be motivated to spend more money on a gift in order to send a stronger signal to their intended recipient. As for gift recipients, they may not construe smaller and larger gifts as representing smaller and larger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So why is the author including this study? To kind of explain why gift givers may do something, why they may act in a certain way, and ultimately perhaps why the gift receivers don't respond in the way that the gift givers thought they would, right? So it's just giving us a possible explanation for what's going on here. So offer an explanation. That looks pretty good. Introduce an argument. Well, we're not really introducing an argument, right? We're trying to support one. We're trying to support a claim. So that's not quite right. Question a motive. No, right? We're trying to show, not really questioning it. We're trying to explain why the gift givers might act in a certain way. Support a conclusion. Now, this one may seem pretty close. You might think D is pretty close to what we saw in A. So, let's go to the two choices and really evaluate carefully. Remember what we said when we analyzed this. It's just a possible explanation. There's no sense here that this is 100% the answer to the question, right? This is a theory that tries to explain why gift givers act in a certain way. It is not a be-all, end-all conclusion. So the problem with D is it's too strong. It's too extreme. Right? This is not a conclusion. It's just trying to offer an explanation. Here's a possibility. Here's something that could explain what's going on. So we want to go with the one that is less extreme, more moderate, unless we had really good evidence. Like if the author said this theory is 100% correct or something like that, that might indicate choice D. But otherwise, D is too strong. We're going to go with A on this one. Okay, these graph questions I'm going to skip for now. I'm going to finish reading the passage, and then we'll go back to the questions we skipped previously. The notion of gift givers and gift recipients being unable to account for the other party's perspective seems puzzling because people slip in and out of these roles every day, and in some cases multiple times in the course of the same day. Yet, despite the extensive experience that people have as both givers and receivers, they often struggle to transfer information gained from one role, e.g. as a giver, and apply it in another, complementary role, e.g. as a receiver. In theoretical terms, people fail to utilize information about their own preferences and experiences in order to produce more efficient outcomes in their exchange relations. In practical terms, people spend hundreds of dollars each year on gifts, but somehow never learn to calibrate their gift expenditures according to personal insight. Okay, so passage is done. Let's go back to the questions that we've skipped. So, 13, the authors indicate that people value gift giving because they feel it what? Well, we can do this one now. It seems to, from what we've read in lines 12 to 13, to what we saw in, let's see, right here, lines 41 and on, basically that gift givers think that they are communicating how much they value a person how much they are willing to engage in a relationship with a person, right? It's about it's about communicating something about their relationship. So, authors indicate that people value gift giving because they feel it functions as a form of self-expression. It's not about self-expression, it's about the relationship between two people. It's an inexpensive way to show appreciation. So this part may work, but inexpensive doesn't work. There's nothing here that says that gift givers value gift giving because it's inexpensive. Just the opposite, right? That you can spend a lot of money, and then the more money you spend, the more you're, at least in theory, signaling you care for somebody. Requires the gift recipient to reciprocate. Nothing in the passage said that gift givers give gifts because they want to get gifts in return. Can serve to strengthen a relationship. Yeah, that's good. So in 14, we can kind of go at this point to these sections of the passage and see which one supports D. Probably, let's see, do we have a choice here? Let's look at choice D, 44 to 47. Although a link between gift price and feelings of appreciation might seem intuitive to gift givers, such an assumption may be unfounded. So D is kind of disproving what 13 is trying to say, right? In 13, we want to know why the gift givers give gifts, and in 44 to 47, it's kind of saying that their reasoning is incorrect. But we want a piece of evidence that supports why they liked gift giving in the first place. So we'll get rid of D. How about 10 to 13? Oh, yeah, this is what I had picked before. I don't know why I said there wasn't 12 to 13. This looks pretty good, right? Many relish the opportunity to buy presents because gift giving offers a powerful means to build stronger bonds with one's closest peers. Yeah, this works actually perfectly. I don't know how I didn't see that before. Anyway, let's just check 22 to 23. People buy gifts that recipients would not choose to buy on their own. That doesn't show why they like gift giving. How about 31? Research has found that people often struggle to take account of others' perspectives. That doesn't show why people like gift giving. So A looks pretty solid. And note we had kind of picked that out before, but in any event, no harm skipping and coming back later. All right, 17. Which choice best provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? So basically, we want to know what section supports the idea that the gift giver's beliefs are incorrect. So let's see. 53 to 55, perhaps givers believe that bigger gifts convey stronger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So that's what they believe, but that doesn't disprove or show why it's incorrect. Gift giving represents a symbolic ritual, willingness to invest resources in the relationship. So 55 to 60 also supports that. So that's not what we're looking for. 63 to 65. As for gift recipients, they may not construe smaller and larger gifts as representing smaller and larger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So this seems to disprove the assumption that the gift givers had, that people respond to gifts the more expensive they are, the more they like them. C is saying, no, that's not true. So C's looking pretty good. 75. In theoretical terms, people fail to utilize information about their own preferences and experiences in order to produce more efficient outcomes in their exchange relations. So this one looks okay. It's at least kind of moving to an explanation of why people may have this false assumption, but it doesn't show how the assumption was false in the first place. So D is close, but I think we like C better. And we're going to go with C. Okay, so did 18, 19, so 20. So now we have got our graph questions. We'll do these now. Okay, the graph following the passage offers evidence that gift givers base their predictions of how much a gift will be appreciated on what? Okay, so the title of this graph is Givers Perceived and Recipients' Actual Gift Appreciations. So notice the giver thinks that the appreciation of the gift will be higher if it is more expensive. So this shows that the gift givers base their predictions of how much a gift will be appreciated on its price, on its value. So that looks like choice B. That looks pretty good. We'll just check the rest. The appreciation level of the gift recipients. No, it's about the cost, right? The cost varies from less to more expensive, and the appreciation seems to vary. Their own desires for the gifts they purchase. This is not mentioned in the graph, and in fact, kind of contradicted by the passage. Their relationship with gift recipients, not supported by the graph, so B looks good. The authors would likely attribute the differences in gift giver and recipient mean appreciation as represented in the graph to what? So notice there is this difference, right? That the giver thinks a more expensive gift will be appreciated, whereas actually it turns out, according to the recipients, a more expensive gift is slightly less appreciated. So we want to know where this discrepancy comes from. What do we read in the passage? Recall in the passage, it's actually something that we highlighted before. People fail to utilize information about their own preferences. That's why there's this disconnect. People know what they want, but then when they try to buy something for somebody, they don't use their own experiences and knowledge to inform that. They make other assumptions. So an inability to shift perspective, yeah, that seems good, right? The inability to think like a recipient when you're giving a gift. And this, again, is supported in this portion of the passage, and I believe there was another place. Yeah. Right, this part here, right? Yet, despite the extensive experience, they often struggle to transfer information gained from one role and apply it to another. In other words, from a giver to a receiver. So A looks pretty good. An increasingly materialistic culture, not mentioned. A growing opposition to gift giving. There's no mention that there's an opposition growing within people to gift giving. And there's no real misunderstanding of intentions. Be careful here. It's kind of not understanding how people react to certain things or don't react to certain things. But it's not that, oh, the gift receiver misunderstands the intentions of the gift giver. It's not that at all. It's just that there's a more fundamental disconnect, which is in choice A, which we see reflected directly in the passage. Okay, so let's just double check we did all of these. Looks like we did. All right, so that's the end of the second passage. Let's move on to passage 3.